Hi everyone, I'm Tony from the Recording Shop Montreal. Welcome back. Video number 2 on recording, mixing and mastering a song together. Last video was about drums and you guys heard a bit what the drum sounded like. I did a small video on that as well. So today we're going to go and talk about the method that I used and my train of thoughts that went behind recording those drums. Here at the Recording Shop Montreal is something we specialize on. That we like to do. Not a lot of people out there like to record live drums. As they say in the industry, the drums are the black sheep. Is everybody tries to stay away from that. We embrace that. We love recording drums here at the Recording Shop Montreal, and we actually build the acoustics in here especially to record drums because it is something that we wanted to excel at, and I think that we succeeded pretty much for a small home studio. So without any hesitation, let's jump into the project and see what it all sounded like and my train of thoughts behind it. Okay, so here we are at our mix here. Let's have a very quick listen. I know let's lecture about here. Okay, so basically the way I recorded the drums is kind of pretty simple. So on the bass drum I put my regular bass drum microphone which comes in the microphone kit for the drums, and on my bass drum out I put an SM58. I like it because the signal is kind of different and it grabs a different frequency. So when you put these two together, nicely mixed, as you guys are going to see here. Let's make a little bit bigger window here. You see, it's a nice big boomy sound that I get once I mix those two together. So okay, so if we look at here and we look at our drums, on my snare top, SM57 as always. At the snare bottom, I put the microphone that comes with the drum recording kit that I have. This one has a much brighter, higher frequency type of capture, and the SM57 has a very warm one. So what I do is I put this one on the bottom to grab, you know, the snappy sound of the snare, and the SM58 on top to catch the warmth of the skin. I usually aim them between the edge of the rim and then the center of the skin on all of them. On my hat, didn't put anything. I used the same microphone that I use at the snare bottom. It catches all mid to high frequencies, which is awesome, which is nothing much to be done. On my tom 1, 2, and 3, I have 3 Pyle microphones, believe it or not, that I kind of resemble the SM57, but much brighter, mid to high frequencies. And as you guys heard before in the mix, I didn't. They sounded great. I didn't need to put anything on those plug-in wise. They fit right into the mix, and on my overheads, obviously, I mix those to fit a bit more the mix. So all this put together, we have a nice boomy sound. So let's just remove all the plugins and see how this looks like. Yeah, big difference. When I try to capture the drums, the method I go behind capturing is I try to go and get as close as possible. Obviously, it is the right way to do it, but I just want to clarify that I use the microphones that I feel captures what I want to hear without any plugins or without the drums being mixed. That's what I want to capture, and I found that this setup for me works. So once I do all the setup and I start recording, at the end I do what do you call it, like a static mix. I try to do all the volumes possible, and then I always mix my drums. I always mix my drums with all the tracks playing. Example, let's say we remove our bass drums. No, sorry, let's go with the snare. Let's put the snare on and we remove all the other ones, okay? And then we'll listen to our snare, see what it sounds like. Let's start about here. right? So now let's add our overhead. See the difference? So that's the reason why, because every overhead and every other microphone bleeds differently into a project. So that's why when I like to mix the drums together. I do a very quick, let's say I try to get it to the sound that I'm looking for, either for a snare or a bass drum. I get it as close as possible that I want individually. But when I do all my final setup, my final mixes, it's always with the whole drum put together. I try not to do too much individual mixing. Let's say that just mix the snare top, just mix the snare bottom, or just the bass drums. Usually I'll do, let's say, both bass drums, the in and the out microphones together. Then I'll do the snare top and the snare bottom together, and then just I say roughly to get it to where the sound I want and I'm looking for, and then I will bring in the whole drum mix, and then do my my mix accordingly. Obviously, I route all these to a drum bus. So let's have a look at the mix window. Here's our drum box, and I always put plugins that will, how can I explain this? That will kind of capture a room feel that obviously in here in the studio everything is pretty flat, not much reverb, right? So I try to put plugins. Usually a multi-band compressor does wonders, obviously EQ, and I always use a reverb to try to recreate a room, kind of like a drum room, like, you know, like has a bit of reverb in it. So I always that on the drum bus. So let's have a listen without the drum bus mix, and that's without the drum bus mix. So you don't need to mix every single part of the drum to actually have a good drum sound at the end. As you guys can see, there's not much plugins going on because the original setup on the microphones were great. And if you get it to 90% to what you want to in your raw recording without adding any plugins, there's not gonna be much work to be done afterwards. A good set of plugins on the main bus could eliminate a lot of work inside the actual drum mix itself. Sharing a bit my recording and mixing method. I hope it's gonna help you guys out to get the kind of mixes that you guys are looking for. So don't forget to like and subscribe. The next video is gonna be on bass recording, and we'll add it to this project, and we're gonna slowly build up the project to actually have a full song. Hope to catch you guys later. See you guys soon.